Hey everybody, welcome back to the 3D Printing Corner. I am Jason and this is the 3D Printing Corner. So today I've got something a little exciting for you guys. As you know, I was at Maker Faire in Milwaukee here just a couple of weeks ago, and I met up with some fellas from a company called Hooklet3D. They are making a new printer. They're calling it the Odin. So their original printer was a direct drive. This particular one is actually set up as a Bowden system. They're making some plans in order to be able to accommodate multiple materials in the future, similar to how Prusa is doing it. So I've got the box here. Let's go ahead, let's unbox this and take a look at what's inside. So here's the box. The only thing I've done so far is cut the tape. I haven't done anything else. So let's go ahead and we'll open it up and we'll take a look at how it's packaged. I did talk to the fellas and they told me that the reason it's packed with all this paper is they're trying to actually reduce the amount of packing materials that they need. So we'll go ahead and take a look in here and see what we've got. Basically we start out with a lot of paper, which is cool. I'm perfectly fine with reducing packing materials. You know, they're doing something that's good for the environment here, so that's good. So let's go ahead and we'll get all this paper out of here. It looks like we've got here their test files and such that they've done. One of the things they do is every one of their printers gets assembled and then they actually run it and test it for a while first. So that's actually good to know. So let's go ahead and get all the paper out of here first, and then we will go through and take a look at all of our different parts. So they did tell me this is actually a pre-release version. They're not going to be releasing this new Bowden style setup for a couple of weeks yet. Or anytime really now, I think. But I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the parts that we have here. I'm going to move this box out of the way, and I'm going to drop the camera down so that as I open up parts here, we can take a look at it as we go. Alright, so I'm just going to take parts out as I find them here. So first thing we've got is a little bit of PLA. This is inland PLA. When I was talking to Steve at the Maker Faire, he's the one that's running the company. That's actually one of his favorites as well. I guess all you guys know this is actually also one of mine. So we do have a sample of that there. Obviously I've got tons of inland PLA here that I will be running tests with it for. We do have a power supply here, so let's go ahead and we'll open that up. Handy dandy pocket knife here. And we'll start peeling parts away. So bear with me. All of this stuff is wrapped incredibly well, which is nice because you know, they are shipping these printers. So having everything wrapped up nicely is good. So let's see what we got here. So this is going to show one of the things that I really love about this printer. So they're actually 3D printing a lot of the parts for the printer, which is fantastic. He has a GitHub repo out there that actually has all of these 3D printed parts. So if you wanted to, you could actually go ahead and get the parts and build this printer. He has the build guide published. Everything's ready to go. So it's a nice power supply. It's 115. It's set up to go for 115, so it is set up for US. But it does look like we have a switch here, so you could probably switch it to be European as well. But it is a 12 volt 30 amp power supply, so it should work just fine. One of the things that I'm loving here, you notice it's a fused power supply. In other words, it's already pre-wired inside here and it's fused, which what that means is there's no direct access here to the mains power, which is fantastic. That is one of my biggest pet peeves on a lot of printers, is that's incredibly dangerous. Having it set up like this and it's just a standard computer plug means that this becomes a lot safer for the home. So we'll go ahead and we're going to set that off over here, and we're going to look and see what we got in here next. So I don't know what this is, so we'll take a look and we'll start kind of peeling it away here. Like I said, everything is wrapped just beautifully. I don't know if this is going to be their final packaging, because as I said, this unit is not done and shipping yet, so he may change how he is wrapping and shipping the product once it goes into full production. But as is right now, this is how I got it wrapped. It looks great. Looks fantastic, actually. So what do we have here? Oh, this is our controller board here. So everything, all the wiring is marked really nicely. You can see here Y motor. We've got another one here, X motor. This one is the Y end stops. I'm assuming this is going to our power. So everything is labeled very nicely. This is an Odin, is the name of the printer. And it's this says it's MK1. I believe MK1 was their original printer, the one that was direct drive, whereas this one is going to be their what do you call their MK1, I believe it's MK1M. I will have to look at that and make sure. But it's already on here. This is a nice aluminum extrusion. So that is fantastic. And like I said, everything is wired up nicely here. We're probably going to have to do something here. I don't know if they've included anything for wiring management. But one thing that is nice is they have connectors here. And I'll show you those in just a second here. You can see the connectors there all going into the drivers. What's nice there is by putting those little connectors on the end here of each wire, you're going to get a better connection than a lot of the Chinese printers you see are actually just wires shoved into there, and it's okay, it's not bad, but this is definitely the better way to do it. These guys are actually coming out of Minnesota, so this is actually an American-made printer, which is rare to find these days, especially in this particular price range. So let's go ahead and pull out our next bits and bobs here and see what we've got. So I'm seeing motors on this one, so let's go ahead and start peeling apart here. Wow. So, like I was telling you, I met these guys at the Maker Faire in Milwaukee, and they were just fantastic guys. They were all about a lot of what this channel is about, which is figuring out how to do printing and still stick on a budget. This printer runs in at about $350, so it comes in probably comparable to price range, things like a Wanhao, Monoprice Maker Select, whatever you want to call it. It comes in that price range. So it's not a super low end, but it is also not going to be super high dollar either. So we'll see once we get it all assembled how it prints, but the example prints I saw from them look fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and get this one opened up here, and looks like, yes, this looks to be, I'm going to guess, our X carriage. Yeah, because there's our hot end. It is an all metal hot end, which is nice. And wow, we've got some good stuff going on over here. So let's go ahead and see if we can't cut that off. There we go. Again, all the wires are nicely labeled. Everything looks really good here. So here is our hot end here. It is a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. It's a very small nozzle. It does have auto bed leveling, which is nice. Everything's done on the extrusions with wheels, which is another nice way to do this. And that moves just beautifully. That's fantastic. And like I said, it is a Bowden style setup. You can see here MK1M, so that is the new model. I'm guessing either A, they haven't rebranded some of the other stuff yet, or they just may not be going to, since it is just a derivative of their MK1 model. Let's go ahead and cut open this next one here. I feel like I'm feeling another motor here, but we'll see what we've got. Again, incredibly well packaged. I can't imagine that their packaging is going to get worse when they go to production. I'm really liking how well and the care that they've taken into making sure these parts actually get here in one piece. The guys have been incredibly open as far as getting me build guides and stuff like that, because this is a new printer for them. I actually just got the build guide for it in the mail or in my email today. So hopefully we don't have any problems getting this together. They say it should only take a few hours to put together, which is good. So here we have one of our axes. I'm not sure which one off the top of my head, but we will figure that out as we go. Nice, very nice motors. Oh, this is actually our extruder motor right here. You can see here it actually has a tension adjusting knob there. It's running a bearing on a gear. This is a little loose here. I'm assuming I can probably tighten that down. Not a big deal. So this is obviously probably one of our uprights. Would be my guess right now. Oh no, actually, sorry. This is actually the top. It will be probably like this, I'm gonna guess. But we'll find out when we put it together. That's not too big of a deal. So we do have just an aluminum extrusion there. So we'll find out where that one goes as we move forward. And this one is going to be our rods, our threaded rods for moving up and down on the Z-axis. Very nice couplers here to give a little motion so that we can get a nice straight print. So in here, I'm not going to open this one all up yet. We'll look at it a little better when we do the building. But it's got just a few 3D printed parts. It looks like some extruder parts. The Bowden tube is in here. End stops are in here. That is all set up and ready to go in there along with our American style plug. So we have this one here. This one's kind of a mystery at the moment, so we'll see what's all in this. So this one is bunches of bips and bops and some extra Bowden tubes and a scraper, and which is nice because there was actually a print removal tool in that first bag too. Some fans. They look like I believe they're 40mm fans. Let's take a peek here. This one's probably our cooling fan. Yes, these are 40mm fans. Some drill bits for cleaning out your heads. Looks like a spare motor driver. Hot end heating block. And another print removal tool. So as I said, this is not their official release, so I don't know how much of this will be in the one that you were to order. But I'm just showing you what all is in the one I have, because like I said, this is a pre-release. So whether everything that's in here will be in there, I don't know for sure, because I already have a cooling fan on the extruder over here, so that looks like it might be some spare parts they've thrown in here for the build. And a brass brush. Those of you that have watched some of my PETG video, you know that I really recommend brass brushes for printing PETG particularly. Also nylon, things like that, where you want a good clean extruder head. Now, let's see here. That empties our box with the exception of one piece here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to clear the table off, and I will be right back. Alright, so we're back. Let's go ahead and get this last one open, which, as y'all can see, this is the main portion. The bed and all of that is already pre-assembled. They're telling me assembly should only take just a few hours. So that is nice. Here is the controller board, full-size SD card, which is nice. Let's go ahead and try and get this plastic all off of here. And again, this piece is wrapped fantastic. We're actually going to need to cut several spots here because I don't want to pick up and manhandle this board around too much. I'm hoping that they have some good indications on where things are going to get plugged into here. Now, one of the nice things is, because this has been run already, and then they just disassemble it, is a lot of the belts and such should be tensioned the way they need to be tensioned. Obviously, you might need to make some adjustments. Some things could have shifted during shipping and things like that. But it should be, for the most part, pretty well ready to go. Just a matter of getting it assembled. Assembly, they're telling me, should take a few hours to get it assembled. Assembly looks to be slightly more complicated than, say, something like a, like my monoprice here, for instance. It's slightly more complicated than that, but for the most part, it shouldn't be too bad. Now, this is interesting. There's no actual plug here, so we'll have to see how that happens in the build guide. You can see here it's just 2 loose wires, but this one does have a plug. I'm going to guess this is the thermistor. Yeah. So we'll see what happens here, but it is nice. These are nice thick gauge wires, so they should do the heated bed nice. We do have our other 2 motors here, really good stepper motors, and we do have a screen. It is a click button screen with a dial. And there is an emergency stop button here. So it looks like it's going to run on, pretty basic setup. It does come with a sheet of PEI on top here. I will say the bed is pretty scratched up, but I'm not terribly concerned about that right now. There's actually a little bit of a remnant of the yellow PLA from when they were doing their testing still stuck to the board. So that is nice. That does tell me they really did run this through testing. So that is the Odin MK1M. It has a 200 by 200 build volume. I believe it goes up to, I want to say it's 175 or 180 height. We'll find out when we actually get it built how high it really goes, because I know a lot of you guys understand that what they say and what it actually does can be 2 different things. For instance, my monoprice here claims to go 185. It doesn't. It goes 175. It's not a big deal, but it's something you just kind of learn as you go. But otherwise, all the parts look great. The printed parts look fabulous. And yeah, I'm excited to put this one together. So if you guys are liking the content and you want to see this thing built, there will be some build video coming up here. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter here, and I will definitely post when that's going to be happening. It'll probably be in the next week, maybe 2. I'm hoping maybe by next weekend I can get this thing put together and get a video out for you guys. Yeah, so follow me on Instagram and Twitter. If you're liking the content, definitely subscribe down below, ring the bell so that you know when that next video is coming out. And also, you can get some information here on what's happening in the corner, what I'm printing, what I'm working on, upcoming videos, things like that. So I am Jason. This is the 3D Printing Corner. Everybody have a good day.